Then they say, what do you want to do with the placenta? And Harrison goes, we're going to keep the placenta. Do you want my placenta? I think it has to be the female that eats it. I don't want it. I don't want to eat it.
I'll try it.
Oh, really? I always said I wouldn't be a birthday party mom. Totally changed on that. It will be my Super Bowl. She's definitely having a bar mitzvah. And there's a theme.
My theme was sports.
Did people wear jerseys?
Yeah, so you wore jerseys and there's a basketball game.
I love exposing Tate to both religions because morally I find them the same.
So if I don't know the long-term place of religion in my life, how do you then incorporate that into your child's life?
Welcome back to another episode of Just Alex. I feel like that sounded weird. Hello.
How's it going?
Great, because we just went to the doctor and I'm going to share with the class. It's TMI right off the top, but should I call my vagina?
I don't know.
Well, I had told you guys that my stitches had come out or torn, I guess, so to speak, but I am 100% healed and cleared. She called it a vaginal miracle, which I thought was fabulous news. If you're
Praise the Lord.
PTL, you know that PTL? Praise the Lord. Do you know what T's and P's is? Thoughts and prayers.
Okay.
Okay.
My mind went dirty there for a second.
What'd you think it was? Tits and
T's.
come on. And
I couldn't line up the P.
Really?
Well, now I can.
Okay. All right. So this episode, you know what we're gonna do?
Please.
What?
No, I have no idea.
We're going to answer I just realized this because I wrote down some things that I wanted to talk about earlier. We're going to answer my 2 most asked questions on Instagram.
And what are those?
Those are, when can you have sex after having a baby? Today I got cleared. Okay. So how many weeks was that? Oh my God. It's a month. It's been 1 month and I cannot believe our child is 1 month old. I can't believe it. I've spent the whole day just not believing that. And a lot of people say 6 weeks, but I guess 4 weeks. Anyways.
4 weeks with miracles.
4 weeks if you have a vaginal miracle like I do. I had a vaginal tragedy turned miracle. Lucky me. And then the other question is, everyone keeps asking me, like, where is my mom and dad? And so we're going to talk about religion, Harris and I being different religions. And then we're going to talk about my family. And I'm not going to say anything more on it because I'm going to make you listen until we get to that part. So let's start by talking about parental brain fog, which is why I'm having to refer to my notes so much because, we have an expensive stroller. Okay, some baby things are expensive. And Julie and Priscilla pulled up and they were like, when they got here, Harrison and I were at the doctor having the vaginal miracle. And they pulled up and they're like, you just left the stroller outside in front of the house. And it's just like, I have no idea where. If somebody said, I'll give you $1,000 to tell me where the stroller is, I'd be like, in the stroller spot? Because the stroller has a parking spot inside the house. But there's this thing that we call parent brain fog, newborn brain fog, which I left my purse at the restaurant the other day. You could call it parent brain fog. You could say Alex has been doing that since college.
I feel like that one was on brand for you.
Yeah,
Pre-kid.
But you're the one. You're how I know it's real.
Well, you had a great one 2 days ago.
Which was what?
With the pumping.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're a breast pumper, you know somebody needs to make a new breast pump. If any entrepreneurs listening, we need less parts. But mine and everyone's, I have the. Don't know, it's blue. And you pump and then you have to pump into bottles. And breast milk is precious, right? And I just started pumping and it just started leaking all over my body. Like I wasn't pumping into bottles. I was just pumping into the air. That was my brain fog moment.
Yeah, it was so funny. You asked me to go and get you the thing. And so I go and I bring it up, but I don't bring it up with the little cups attached.
The bottles attached.
And I just hear a scream.
Because
upstairs.
Liquid gold was dripping.
Well,
needed to catch it. You though.
Mine's just, I don't think exciting. No, leaking my tits aren't leaking on myself.
You just lost your AirPods, and well, you didn't lose your wallet. I washed it in your pants.
Yeah, well, a couple times I've lost my actual headphones, which has never happened to me before.
Yeah, we're just
the pod of the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The pot of the air.
but I think people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pot of the air is kind of a lamau. LMAO.
But I'm also like, there's also different sleep situation going on here.
Yeah. You sleep with your AirPods in now and you're losing them. We can't find them. But I had 2 pairs and I gave you one.
Very nice of you.
I said, I'll give you this here AirPod because the struggle is real. Okay, so we got to talk about our placenta, my placenta, which I now call our placenta, because after you birth the baby, you birth your placenta, okay? And then they say, what do you want to do with the placenta? And Harrison, I'm like with the baby trying to figure out which way's up. And Harrison goes, we're going to keep the placenta. And they're like, okay, we'll put it on ice. And I'm looking at him like, what are we going to do with the placenta? And then in order to take the placenta home, you have to have an ice chest. So Harrison calls his sister and he's like, we need an ice chest. So she brings up an ice chest and we ice the placenta. And now we're 1 month postpartum and we still have the placenta.
Well, somewhere along the way, I just remember there was like some throwaway comment, and I don't know if it was from a person or I don't know if it was like from some TikTok that I saw. And it was like, right when you have that, right when birth is given, they're gonna, ask you if you want to keep or not keep the placenta, and if you don't say anything, they're just going to wheel that thing right out of there, and you got to keep it because it's worth a lot. I'm like, for what? And I never really knew, but now we got to figure it out.
So in the moment, Harrison went with, yes, let's keep the placenta. And so we've Googled it, and there's 3 options with the placenta. Number 1, you eat it. You chop it up into capsules and you eat your placenta. I have no interest in doing that.
Put it in smoothies.
Do you want my placenta? I think it has to be the female that eats it. I don't want it. I don't want to eat it.
I'll try it.
Oh, really? No.
Well, it depends like in what dosage.
Yeah, you'd have to see like what it would do for you too.
Yeah.
I think it has like properties. I don't know. So the option is you eat it. Then our OB said you could plant it and it will actually grow a tree. And then the third one is everyone says placentas are worth like 50 grand. So we were like, we'll sell it. Okay, well then we start Googling it and it's illegal to sell. Like you can't sell a kidney. You can't sell a liver. You got to be on a list and then there's an order. You also can't sell a placenta unless you sell it on the black market, which I'm down for. Because
there's a price for everything.
Yeah, and my placenta's price is not very high because I don't have any interest in growing a tree or like eating it. So you asked me today, you're like, how much would you take for your placenta? Anything over $1?
No.
What else? Like realistically, what else am I going to do with it? Have you seen it? Have you looked at it?
Not like I saw it in the bag the day of, but now I saw it today. It's in the freezer
Our freezer?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it. I have in my head what I think it looks like.
We'll look at it after.
But okay.
Because I could use a refresher.
Do you think it looks gross?
I just remember I thought it like I looked like just like a red kind of. I can't even describe it. I know exactly what it looks like. I'm pretty sure I saw it come out of you.
You probably did.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
What did it look like?
Like a bag.
A red plastic bag filled with water.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like it like reminded me of like going to the butcher shop and like picking up, like we went to the butcher shop yesterday. Like there's all the different cuts of meat, and the one we went to yesterday had a bunch of wild stuff, and nothing like that different from what you'd see in there.
Is it hard or is it soft? I wonder.
It looked very soft.
Yeah, I bet it's liquid. Yeah, I don't know though why we need the placentas. Because here's the thing too, like when I have another kid, then I got another placenta.
When you're starting a placenta secondary market business,
I'm down. I'm down for that. We could do something.
Just placentas.
Just placentas. But if there's something we're missing that we can do with the placenta, let us know. But I don't think we missed anything. Most people eat it. I don't know. I'm sure the hospital takes it and does something with it. If the hospital keeps it, I'm sure they got something they do with it. Which is why, here's why I think you got to keep the placenta. There's a reason they ask you right after you give birth and you're completely disoriented. They're trying to catch you off guard. That's why I think it's worth something.
Is that when they actually asked us, or was it like at some point in the midst of I don't actually remember when they asked.
I think that's the whole point. We don't know. I don't remember them asking.
Well, we got it.
We have
whatever TikTok we saw. We followed the rules.
Yeah, we have the placenta. We just don't know the next step to take with it. Okay, so let's discuss let's talk about our new rule.
Okay.
So Harrison and I went to a brunch yesterday to celebrate the Jewish New Year. And we're going to talk about like religion, like me being Christian, him being Jewish, and a blended family on that front. But when we went to the brunch beforehand, Harrison was like, all right, let's make a bet with ourselves. Let's play a game here. Let's not talk about our kid the entire brunch. And I thought that's a really good idea. And it was hard for me to do because it's so natural to just incorporate. Like, she's such a big part of our life. Of course, we want to talk about it. But you had such a good point. No one cares about your kid but you. You're nothing. He's not even talking about it right now.
No, I mean, I obviously, like I said, what I said. I find like too often that's where small talk. Oh, there she is. She knows. Look at that. We're talking about her. She's mad.
Oh, she's so cute.
Oh,
she smiles.
Yeah, like I think people always want to hear a good story, but I think a lot of the minor details that like I just think about when the situations are reversed and people would like, kind of tell me these mindless things that I didn't really care about, and I don't now want to go and be that person. And I think obviously what we discussed was like when people ask, that's a different story. But like, I don't think you just want to be pushing that on people.
So I broke.
Also, like taking into account this podcast is talking a lot about the child, but whatever.
Quick pause to talk about magnetic me, because you guys, there's nothing worse when you're trying to change the baby. You're fussing. First, you got to do the diaper, and then you've got the zippers, you've got the buttons, and then enter magnetic me. All you do is you just connect one magnet, and I swear the rest just fall into line. It is the magnetic me. They have the cutest prints. They are the softest clothes. And they are the most convenient onesies ever. People kept gifting me them, and they were like, these are my favorite pajamas. And then once I had Tate, I put them on, and I was like, these are the best. So you guys have to get, I even have a pair. They're great for breastfeeding. They are so convenient. And I cannot tell you how soft they are. So getting my baby dressed has never been easier with Magnetic Me. Trust me, you need to order these for your baby. I would not lead you astray on this. Go to magneticme.com today. New customers will get 15% off their first order. Don't wait. That's magneticme.com. I actually had a lot of fun doing it because then I was asking people questions. Like, it got me out of my own head. But there was one point where I was talking to these two guys, the older gentleman and then Dan from New Jersey. And they were asking me a bunch of questions, and I was like trying to answer them. And then finally I said, guys, I had a baby 3 weeks ago. I like actually don't really remember what we were talking about. And I couldn't keep up with the conversation anymore. I was like, sorry, I'm just a little tired. And they were like, oh my God. But it's the only time I had to mention it.
That is one thing you do really well that I've learned from you is like the art of asking questions. And in those social settings, like you've nailed your perspective on it, which is like people love to talk about themselves. And so just like get out there and put the ball in their court. And then, the best part of doing that is like you learn a ton.
People go to socialize, they go to parties and they meet people. I always think in all the wrong ways because they go and they just talk about themselves. And what I always found was, well, I hate talking about myself, although I have 2 podcasts. And so it is, you might think that's a lie, but in social settings, if you want a brain break, you just start firing off questions to them. And then they answer. And then it's the best thing ever because you really get to know them. And like people are really interesting. So I always have a lot more fun when I'm asking people questions. I hate whenever I'm being asked the questions. I love to ask questions. Now this reminds me of, so you haven't watched Nobody Wants This?
No.
Okay.
I'm like on 5 seasons of Prison Break. I'm in the last season of Prison Break right now. I've like rewatched the whole thing. It's fucking amazing. And randomly this like dude I know from high school, Curtis Lum, just showed up as the agent on the episode.
Prison Break's like not
Shout
trending.
Curtis Lum.
It's not trending right now.
No, this is like the worst show no one should. First 2 seasons were amazing, but then it got terrible.
So Nobody Wants This is a thing right now. And this is the 3rd most asked DM I get. How much like your life is Nobody Wants This? Because she's a shikha? Shiksa?
Shiksa, yep.
Do you know what that is?
I assume it's a Christian dating or married to a Jew.
They call her a whore. Oh, a blonde girl? a non-Jewish blonde girl that's like interrupting the system. Their whole thing, they call him whore 1 and whore 2 in the show is why I said that, but based like they quite literally call her whore 1 and whore 2, her and her sister. It's based off a true story though, and it just got renewed for season 2. But it's Kristen Bell, who's just like this blonde girl podcaster who is dating a Jewish boy, but he's a rabbi, okay? And so...
Is he actually a rabbi?
So in the show, he's full-blown a rabbi and just got promoted to head rabbi. But in real life, he's not actually a rabbi.
Okay.
So there's a couple of like adjustments in the show. But nonetheless, he wants her to convert because the only way he can be head rabbi is if she converts. Because he can't be dating a shiksa. But I was watching it and I thought, oh my God, I'm her. So nice of your family to accept me with open arms. But in the movie, his brother Sasha tells her, he says, okay, the best thing you can do at events when you don't know what anyone's talking about is repeat back to them what they said. Like take the last line and just say it back to them, although it's a question.
Do you know who you can thank for my family welcoming you with open arms?
I'm going to do the Sasha thing. Who can I have to thank for welcoming with open arms?
Grandpa Max.
Grandpa Max?
Yeah.
See, I'm doing it. Really?
Yeah.
It works though.
Because like Grandpa Max initially like went down the whole, very like tight Judaism thing. But then towards the end, he really opened it up.
Opened it up?
Yeah.
How?
Well, just like, married a non-Jew. So I think that it's like, all right, like if he did it.
I can't do it back to you now. Anyone can do it.
There we go. And you did it.
Did what? I forgot because I was playing a game. I don't know what are you talking about.
I'm just saying like when the kind of head of household like marries a non-Jew, then
all bets are off.
Like exactly.
Because it starts at the top and it trickles down.
Yeah.
So whatever the top does, anyone can do. Remember that. We have a daughter now. So everyone's got to be walking around in their best behavior.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and we got to talk to her, even though she doesn't technically know what's going on.
We do a lot of talking to her.
A lot of informing Tate of things. Okay, so that's his conversation piece, and then the other thing is, so what I realized this weekend with your family was I was full blown living Kristen Bell's life. What is her name in the show? Pat. I don't know.
And like what is most similar to the show and what's most different from the show?
To our life?
Yeah.
It's she's literally a podcaster. It's oddly similar. But okay, my dad's not gay. Her parents got divorced and her dad is gay.
Okay.
You're not as religious as he is.
Yeah, I mean I'm not very religious at all.
Right. He's a rabbi.
Yeah.
So he's highly religious. Also though in the show, his family's really mean to her and like not accepting of her. They want him to be with his ex, who was a nice Jewish girl, an NJG. And your family's like incredibly accepting and nice to me. So incredibly accepting and nice that I went to synagogue. And I like went up and did so Yom Kippur is Jewish New Year. So they literally just had New Year's. Like think about our January 1st. January 1st? Yeah. So Jewish people get to do that twice because like your family also celebrates the real New Year. Not the real New Year, but the calendar New Year. Yeah. And then the Jewish New Year.
And January 6th as well. Big day for us.
Those little comments are welcomed on this podcast. Sense of humor required for viewing. Man, I don't have my train of thought like I used to. I used to be able to jump right back to what I was talking about. Your family is incredibly accepting of me, right? And which makes it more warm and welcoming and allows me to have curiosity around the religion, which I love. So what's been happening is Tate was born on a Tuesday, almost 4 Tuesdays ago. And that Friday we had our first Shabbat because I realized like what I had always said would happen with her is I wanted her to experience both religions. And then she was born and I was like, no time like the present. So every Friday she's been alive, she's had Shabbat. And then while your family was here, we had Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, your mom said I could pronounce it either way.
Because she doesn't know how to pronounce it.
Which I love because that makes me feel better. And then I went to synagogue. And I here's what I've realized around it. Like, I love exposing Tate to both religions because morally I find them the same, right? They have the same code of conduct and they have the same 10 commandments, right? And so I find it like really cool to expose her around that. But I think you have a weird thing going on with religion that we should talk about.
Well, I just think like when you talk about the last 4 weeks and like all those things you've done, right? Like from the Shabbats to Rosh Hashanah, I think like the immediate response to that would be like, oh wow, like he's really pushing that on her.
Oh, it took everything in me to get him to go to synagogue. Let me preface that.
And I think like where it's kind of a unique relationship is like, while, you know, I have grown up Jewish and I'm very proud to be Jewish, there are certain parts of the religion that really resonate with me, and other part, you know, and those are things like the value system, the community, and then there are other things that don't. And so like, I don't really, you know, go to synagogue, or the only time I've ever really done Shabbat is when I go back home with, and my family's doing it. So I think it's been really cool on your side to like see all the pieces on the table and really embrace all of them without me asking, because I think in the medium to long term, that probably puts her in the best position just to be exposed to these, you know, different environments and people before ultimately, you know, she chooses the path for her. And yeah, like it's religion's just one of those things right now where like there's a lot in her life where, you know, I have high conviction on, you know, the way that like things that I want in her life, or the way that I think she should approach doing things. And then religion's one like where I don't have, well, I believe in a higher power. I'm still figuring out the long-term place of religion in my life. So if I don't know the long-term place of religion in my life, how do you then put that, or, you know, incorporate that into your child's life? And watching you totally take the reins and do so openly and positively has been amazing to see. Did that make any sense?
It did. Basically,
Okay.
I think like you don't know how religion fits in your life, so you don't know how it fits in the kid's life, but I'm over here spearheading the blending of the two religions, and you're like down to let me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, not to take away from like so many of the amazing things that, you know, so many of the amazing Jewish parts of my life, there's just some figuring out to do. And there are things that like I really do want her to do. Like I really want her to go to Jewish summer camp. Like I want her to go to the summer camp I went to. If you'd be open to that, like Camp Atikva, that place was a fucking blast. Some of those kids from like when I was at camp, I think 6, 7, 8 years old, you go super young. Like Kid Ben, those are still my best friends today.
No, I think that's incredible. And I think the thing about religion for me is like, one, I'm lucky that the religions that they're close. They're like sister brother religions, Judaism and Christianity. But I think it would be very against both of them for me to come in and say one was better than the other, right? Like if your mom thought that Judaism was better than Christianity, or if I thought Christianity is better than Judaism, I think that would be very I think both religions would frown upon that. I think being more welcoming is the idea of it.
Yeah, I also think you have a really unique perspective because your journey with religion has started, like, from what you've described to me, it's been a journey that has taken you, you know, from very close to religion to very far away from it to now coming back into it.
Well, I had to make it mine. And I think when you blindly follow what people tell you religion is and what you're supposed to do, then you're just like you're just blindly walking and you're going through the motions. And then I think I overcorrected and I like very much so had no relationship with it for a while. And then I warmed to it, and I obviously went through like the divorce, like lots of hard times and things. And then I formed my own relationship with it. And here's the thing, like, to me, you know, God's not in the white cloak with like the beard, right? And to some people he is. And I think you make your own relationship with it. But I think when you make it your relationship and it's something that you decided, then you can be more confident like standing in it. And what I want Tate to get from religion is just that I don't believe that we all just exist here.
Totally.
I believe there's like something higher that connects you. There's community and there's morals that come with it. And what I don't want her to think is if she has sex before marriage, then she immediately goes to hell. That's not my view on religion at all. It's a much warmer thing. And so like Shabbat, for example, is just simply every Friday breaking the bread and saying you braid a really yummy challah, and then you acknowledge the week is over and you give thanks that you had that week. I love that.
Totally. And what was the word you used there? Word you used was you needed to find your way.
I need to find my version. I don't know.
Yes, making religion your own. And that is the position that I want to put Tate in, where she can make it her own and all of the pieces are in play and all the experiences are put in front of her so she can, obviously at a much later date, make those decisions for herself.
And maybe she picks both of them. Like maybe I want to practice both, right? And Tate will always have, I mean, as long as she chooses, right? She might one day say, I no longer want to do X, Y, Z, but she'll have Hanukkah, she'll have Christmas, she'll have Rosh Hashanah, she'll have Yom Kippur, she'll have Easter. And she'll experience all of those. And one day she might gravitate more towards one, but it's for her to pick, not for us to impress upon her.
Yeah. And so like with that, like this, how do we make those Friday night dinners the right, how do we make them our own where they're, I guess like growing up, one of the issues I had was so many of the things we did weren't fun. Mm. And like, me, like I love fun.
Right.
And so like, so much of it like felt like a chore. And I understand like there's the need to put work in and pay respect. But I felt like too many of the activities that I was doing around the religion, like didn't have a connotation of fun around them. And like Friday night Shabbat dinner is an amazing example of that, where like growing up, it wasn't fun. And now what my sister's like done an amazing job at spearheading back in Vancouver is like making those like Friday night dinners with a touch of Shabbat.
Oh yeah. Right? I had a blast.
And so like, what are, as you just kind of said, like making it your own.
Well, you know what another thing that I thought was a genius move by Judaism, the synagogue.
That's yeah.
So they have memberships at the synagogue where you pay.
Yeah.
And Harrison looked at me and was like, do you guys have membership at churches? And I was like, no. And then your mom was like, they pass around the hat. And you're supposed to tithe, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Much better to have memberships. Much smarter. It's a great way to get money, like, because they do need money.
Yeah, I don't know how the memberships work.
It's genius. We had to have tickets to go to synagogue, and they checked them at the gate.
But I think it's like kind of like a sliding scale thing.
What do you mean?
Like, I think that if you're not in a financial position to become a member, then that isn't a problem, and they still give you the membership.
Well, no, of course, I would hope so.
I think it's like much more like a guided donation.
But I think it makes a lot of sense to say you're a member at it because like your parents' membership transferred here.
Yeah.
And then they were able to go, which I just thought made a lot of sense.
Yeah. I love how you do like seem to know more about this than I do.
I know a lot about it. You weren't sure which one was Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and I knew exactly which ones they were because I put them in my calendar. Because I think religion is fascinating also. I went up there with the roses and there was the Torah and I made the wish for my new year.
And I think long story short, I love how you're making it. I love how you're incorporating both religions in our house. And I love the positive and fun spin that you're putting on it because, I think while I had a lot of fun moments growing up with my religion, there were a lot of moments that came with boredom. And I want, me, I love fun. And I want to surround her in an environment of positivity and fun.
So I had the same thing, right? I definitely remember like having to wake up to go to church or something, and it just makes you resent the process as opposed to loving it. So we'll see. Listen, I don't know, like we're taking it one day at a time. I'm like trying to navigate this as well with like a bunch of curiosity. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but she's definitely having a bar mitzvah? Bot? Which one's the girl?
It's bat mitzvah for a girl.
Bot?
Yeah.
B-A-T?
Yeah.
Bat mitzvah. Yeah, we're definitely having that.
And that's like one of those really cool community moments where I think you're 13 years old and you go and you read a portion from the Torah and a bunch of your friends and your family come together and you do a big celebration night of. And like those are the things that, you know, I have such fond memories of. And I look forward to hopefully her participating in.
And there's a theme.
To the party, yes.
Yeah, they had that in Nobody Wants This. Hers was New York themed and she hated it.
Whose?
The daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
My theme was sports.
Like, all sports?
We did it at the BC Sports Hall of Fame.
British Columbia Sports Hall of Fame. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So it's like all sports. Did people wear jerseys?
Yeah, so you wore jerseys and there was a basketball game and like there was a bunch of like different activities of it was, you know, all sports.
I like that. Yeah, I've been thinking about Tate's first birthday a lot, and now I'll start thinking about her bat mitzvah theme. I have a while, but I always said I wouldn't be a birthday party mom. Like we weren't going to have a first birthday party. I have a couple family members. I've totally changed on that. It will be my Super Bowl. She will not know about it, like, because she won't know. Okay, so I feel like we talked about your so nonetheless, Harrison's family has been here. Your mother was wonderfully helpful. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell the story. You're going to cringe. So last night, Canadians have Thanksgiving. Who knew? No one. And at this brunch, I was like, we have to go home because we're making Canadian Thanksgiving. And Hudson, one of the hosts, was like, really didn't know that Canada had Thanksgiving. And I liked what you said. It became more popular when Instagram came around because the Canadians saw the Americans like making their turkey and Thanksgiving and thing. And they were like, we have that too.
Yeah, I look back at high school and I don't think we celebrated Thanksgiving once.
Did you know it's actually Monday?
No, I don't know much about it.
Oh, it's actually today.
But I remember like when I got to like even in college, it wasn't a thing. And then I remember when I moved to New York in 2011, like that was when Instagram started becoming a thing. And you're like, and I, you know, got exposed to American Thanksgiving and then I started seeing people doing Canadian Thanksgiving. And I think that Instagram definitely popularized like the event, like turning it into the event that it is.
Well, that's the power.
Yeah.
That's the power of social media though, is it's made even first birthday parties. I don't think they used to have the backdrops that they do, but because of Instagrammable moments, it happens. So I get how Thanksgiving, like there's no harm in making it more of a thing. Like it's fun, you know? Do you know? Ours is really fun here. We have it on, it's a Thursday.
Yeah. But, and like the way, like what is done, like it's Thanksgiving week in America.
Exactly.
Like you guys nail it with like the football and, you know, the market holidays and the half day, like all, you nailed it. Canada, it is an afterthought.
Yeah. But it's becoming more of a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So all that to say, we have Thanksgiving and Harrison did this thing very unlike you. You're already like fidgeting. Just let me tell the story because I think it's really nice. Okay. So Harrison, his mother, his whole family was in town for this, and because we had the high holidays, and then we had Thanksgiving. So we made a traditional Thanksgiving feast. I'm not good in the kitchen, and Harrison went upstairs at one point. And he came down. And he's like, "Okay, speaking of being thankful, and you gave your mom, you went to Louis Vuitton, and you bought me, your mom, and your sister purses, which." I think are you on record saying you will never buy me a designer bag? No, you never said it on the record? No. Well, I never wanted you to because I like doing that myself. I was like, are you saying he said it? So. Yeah, I think Julie's saying, I think we do have you saying that multiple times. Yeah, and I respond, I can buy my own. A lot more fun when you buy it. I'm off that. I'm no longer saying I can buy my own. You can buy them. But anyways, I'm kidding. It was a really sweet moment. And you came down and you were like, the first person we have to be thankful for, and your mom was your mom. And you gave her the purse and she like had tears in her eyes because I think when you don't give gifts like that very often. You're a very big experience giver. You love to give gifts. Acts of service is like something
Totally.
that you love to do. But this was an unusual gift for you. And you went to the store yourself and you picked out these bags. And you just told her how thankful you were for her and like how supportive she has been. And you did the same thing for your sister, and then you did it for me. And my number one takeaway around the moment was how you said relationships aren't always 50-50. And with your mom and your sister, like, because we were moving, because we had the baby, like we've been doing a lot of taking, right? And that's not lost on us. Like, we understand that we have to give back to them. But it's been a 90-10 with them. And I love that, like, you've known that. And then you like really acknowledged it. And while giving them a purse as a materialistic item, it didn't feel like that because it was you that gave it. And it's just like, so the message you gave around it, but then you didn't give like a sentimental gift. It was actually like you hit the nail on the head by giving a fun gift that they wanted.
Yeah. I think some added color there is, so I do believe over the long run for a relationship to be healthy, it does need to be 50-50 on give and take.
Needs to net out at 50-50.
It needs to net out. But I believe that there will be times where the pendulum swings. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the case of my family, as you've alluded to, it has swung 90-10 over the past, call it 12 plus months, probably closer to 18.
And I've only known you.
Yeah, but they've been unbelievably supportive. And like an example of that, like they got a house down here for a pretty extended period of time and just kind of, you know, my mom booked a ticket and never left. And my family over the past month has been coming and going and really just on their own initiative and their level of understanding throughout all of it is just, and support has just been truly, it's been unbelievably special. And so I just wanted to show a sign of appreciation. And coincidentally, she talked about 2 or 3 days ago, like this, how she wanted a new going out bag. And then we were at the store a couple of weeks ago and you've been consistently talking about that bag. And so it just felt like, you know, a great reflection of, I wanted to pay obviously what you've gone through over the past 9 months and now taking on motherhood. You've absolutely been fucking rocking it. And so when the decision was made for you two, and my sister just kind of collateral damage, but she's been so supportive. I needed to get her too. So she just like got bucketed and that.
Good bucket.
I didn't know if she'd want it, but she seemed to really like it.
Yeah, she liked it. She loved it. You did a very, very, very good job. And it was just a really sweet sentiment the way that you did it.
Feels very awkward to talk about. I will say that.
So we just talked all about your family being here, and we had a lovely time with them here. And now I am a Jewish spokesperson. I'm a Jewish spokesperson. And so now I'm going to address my family because I feel like one question that I've been getting a lot from you all is like, where's your mom? Because I used to make so much content with my mom and you guys, like she was a character. You guys are so used to seeing her and she wanted to be a grandma so bad. And she loves little Tater so much. Both of our families were here the week of the birth and my parents are coming back next week, which I'm very excited about. But here's the thing. I think, I have to be honest with you guys. I'll always be honest with you guys. My relationship with my mom is different now than it was 3 years ago. And there's no smoking gun there. Like there's not one certain thing that is, We used to have a podcast together. We both used to be in New York. I think the divorce, that was hard on people. And I think the way to address it is you go through phases of life when maybe you guys can relate to this, maybe you can't. If you can't, and you've always had a wonderful relationship with your mother and your parents, good for you, right? And most of my life I have. But right now, I love my parents to death. My parents love me to death. They love Tate. They love Harrison. They're so excited to come back down here. And I know she hasn't been on my social media. And I know you guys are like, where is she? She's just in Oklahoma and she's coming back down here. That's like the real answer to it. But also I do always want to be honest with you guys that our relationship's not what it was 3 years ago, but I owe so much of my life to my mom and my parents, and I love them dearly and they love me dearly. And they're really excited for this phase of life for me. It just came at a time when our relationship was in a rocky spot. So, that's the best I can articulate it.
No, I like that resonates a lot. Like when I look at relationships with, whether it's friends or my personal family, like I see the ebbs and flows of closeness that come. But like, I think the one consistent theme that I do see is like when there is love and there is respect, those relationships always come around. And I look at, how much your mom and dad love you and how much they love Tate. And, I'm very confident that, the relationship will get back to where it was, 3 years ago.
And I think it's not hard about it, but what's unique in this scenario is like, I have the social media presence. So like the questions about it do come. So like I don't get to just sit in my room and like navigate it internally. It's like I do have to talk about it out loud. And I listen, that's why I do this. And I love being always honest with you guys. It's just, there's not something so novel happening, but there is this noticeable absence during this period. But at the same time, it's like, I just simply don't post that many photos of her right now either. Like, she was here for the week of the birth. And when I put up that picture, everyone was like, oh, and it's like, it's just, she's coming back next week. Like, it's not that, but all the while you're comparing that to when I started making content, which I only made content of her, so there is that question to answer. And I don't know, it sucks. It definitely sucks having the ebbs and flows, with your parents, because listen, I never had that until I moved away from Oklahoma when I was like 25 and I moved out to Orange County. But listen, she loves me. She loves us. She loves this little family. I'm excited they're coming back. It's just, that's where we're at.
I'm excited to see them next week, and it's great seeing them here over the week of the birth, and keep showing them around town.
All the barbecue joints. You can convert to Christianity now. We'll do your turn at my religion.
Done.
Done. Oh, nice. Okay, good. Okay, so now I wanted to dive into work updates. Do you have one?
I have a work pet peeve.
What is it?
This has happened twice in the past week, and it's when people email you asking for a catch up and then ask you to send the calendar invite.
Oh, no.
Like if you ask for a meeting, for a call, you send the calendar invite.
No question.
Or you have the admin send this calendar invite. Like it is banana land to request the person send it.
Do you send it? Or do you just not reply?
So like as of the one today, I don't reply. So like we have a confirmed meeting, and if they don't send the update, if they don't send the calendar update, I'm just.
Did they say shoot me an invite?
I'll read the exact wording.
Okay, because that is not good. Hi, can I have a meeting? Okay, send me an invite.
So email was this morning. Hey, would love to get a Zoom schedule to catch up on. Would be great to catch up on XYZ. And I said, how does this time work? And they said, that works great. If you can send a calendar invite, that would be great. No, I can't send a calendar invite.
Absolutely not.
You asked me for the meeting.
Yeah, I think a no response is just as good.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Okay.
And then
wow,
I have a second one.
Oh.
My second one is you're only allowed to reschedule a meeting once.
And then the second time you reschedule, it's not happening anymore.
If you don't show up for the second meeting, or if you reschedule the second meeting, it's a no.
What if I reschedule one and you reschedule one?
Each person's allowed one.
One rescheduling.
Yeah.
Okay, and then otherwise it's bad form and it's just off.
Like it is fully off.
And do you say, I just want to cancel the meeting, or?
If they come back a second
time to move it, like, sorry, this doesn't work for me at that point. At that point, the other person just doesn't respond.
this is a good question, because there's obviously two approaches. Approach one is you just ignore. Um, and approach two is you could hit him back with something direct, being like, hey, it doesn't seem like this is a priority for you.
Ooh.
So let's just, save it for another time when it is.
I do agree with that. I think, though, if you move it twice and then the person doesn't respond, you can't be offended by that because you just got to know.
No,
It's honestly easier if they don't reply.
I also think like you gotta like, if you're moving it the second time, you gotta be like very aware of the crime you're committing.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Ooh, savage. But what between the two, the one that kills me more is, hey, will you send the calendar invite when they ask for the meeting? No. You got to send the calendar invite. You asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild. And if they're down to send it, then if they're the kind that's like down to send it, they'll volunteer to send it. The person, the recipient of the question.
Yeah, to me, it's just like, it's a firm no.
Yeah, I totally agree. And while we're on your work topic, what's going on with the Kellogg thing? Because I see it everywhere, but I don't know anything that's happening.
So it's really interesting, and a group of people have gotten together, and they've put together a petition against Kellogg's, and filed as an activist investor in their stock. And what they're protesting is some of the ingredients that are going into their foods, mainly cereal. And so what's crazy about the situation is Kellogg's is using these artificial food dyes in U.S. cereal like Fruit Loops that are banned in other parts of the world and linked to all sorts of terrible diseases. And so I think over 300,000 people have signed the petition. I think they're going to Kellogg's headquarters to cause some ruckus, and it's part of a larger movement to clean the ingredient panels of what we're eating across the country. And I think it's an awesome initiative.
Something you're very passionate about. Clean food.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you eat Fruit Loops?
No, I think that cereal, generally speaking, is like when you look at the nutritional profile of it, it is worse than dessert. And of all the things of like what her upbringing and the foods she'll be eating, like I have no intention of us, ever having any of those like mass cereals in the home. Like they're poison.
One of my friends in college, I think their mom told me that like if you eat cereal, it takes you like 5 years to digest it because it just sits in your stomach like a brick. And it never left my head. And I wondered why cereal, like not Twinkies, cereal specifically. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, that to me is kind of like a bit of a different path on this. But long-winded. I think there's probably a more conversation to unpack here at a future date on like what goes in our foods, and particularly what goes in our foods that's been banned in other countries,
right?
But hasn't been banned here yet. And it's all some pretty scary stuff and linked to disease like obesity and much scarier things.
The problem is all I want now is a bowl of Fruit Loops.
You are fucking you.
I'm not going to eat it because that also sounds like it just would not be good for you, but it did taste good. Okay. My work update is that I'm slowly going to start working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and keep Monday and Friday to be a mom because I can't leave that little tater. And I know that we had like mentioned maybe we would get a nanny, we wouldn't get a nanny, but now that I'm going back, we're going to do a part-time nanny, see how that feels, dip our toe in the water. But Harrison and I really like taking care of this little babe, but also we got to go to work. So we're going to try and strike a balance, but I don't think that we want like a full-time one or anything like that we thought. So that's my work update.
And she's doing every day from 8 to 1?
No, she's doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, wow.
From 8 to 1. And then we're going to revisit after 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and see. So that's the skinny there. And that's all I've got. You got anything else? All right. Let's sign off. Over and out.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Just Alex, powered by Just Media House. If you enjoyed the show, which I think you did because you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. All of those things are so important. Stay connected on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at justalexpod. Post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Just Alex Pod by Gideon Shawkin and Denisha. I'm Just Alex, you're just you. Let's keep doing this thing. New episodes every Thursday.